Marwal Kim, and this is the conduit. Today is we're back at the courthouse with Judge Tracy Flood. We have catalyst Carter School back with us today. Super awesome to talk. And Flood is in the distance there, and several Washington State patrol officers. Blue was talking about how he was part of the protecting the president here in Washington last week. So kind of cool. We've got a Washington State patrol officer here that was protecting President Biden. So that is awesome. So we're gonna be going here in just a second. Hey there, Pastor Ellington. How's our audio, sir? You want to do our final check? Yeah, you want to say hi to everyone on the other two mics to make sure that we're good? Pastor Ellington, how we doing on audio? Yeah, and then do this also. You know? Okay.
Hello, audience. Hello, you guys.
All right. All right. You're like, yeah, we're super excited for today. We're gonna have a good time. All right. How was that sounding there? It's actually upside down. Flip it the other way. The light show up top. You're not coming through very clear. Yeah, they may have to hold it. A bit of fluctuation in the background coming through good. Okay. No. Try holding it for me. That's much better. I think you're gonna have to hold it because of the mask. It's just not coming through. There you go. Yeah. Yep. You'll have to hold it because of the mask. The mask is muffling the sound there. No. There we go. You got to know when to hold them.
When to hold them.
Know when to fold
When
them.
to fold them.
Know when to walk away. There you go. All time classic right there. All time classic, right? Oh yeah, yeah. All right. So we're uh, uh, what are those? For the pound sign? Oh, wait, do you know what the pound sign is? We're not old. Mhm. That's right. My mic is humming my voice. Reverb. Hmm. Pat Benatar? For sure. Let me see what I could do on that there. I want to make sure that everyone can hear them. All right. So yeah, the kids are just finishing up their lunch. So we wanted to kind of get a jump on things, make sure we're good to go. So super excited for today. Now this week we actually have cameras in the front, so we'll be able to see people a little bit better. The 2 days last week, we'll be able to see our students, right? Especially when they argue their case, which is awesome. Yeah, and if you missed last week, this is definitely a treat for sure. All right, let's get going here just a second. Looks like the kids are getting ready to come on in. Right. Well, thank you. I don't think you like our name quite as much as you like yours. Great. Nice to meet you too. Are you teachers with Catalyst? Oh, nice. Okay. Well, thank you. Afternoon. How are you? Pretty good. How are you doing? Good. Yeah. Yeah.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna fill the front row first, go all the way down. And I need you guys to come out of those and over with Peter. Okay, thank you. You can sit over there and, yeah, that's probably. So, keep going. This second row. Go all the way down. Okay, stop. And shift. So you're sitting, first one, and shift over to the
That's your mic. So we keep this, hold it like it's regular. Okay, just like that? Yep, okay.
And you just go stand next to your teacher.
Okay.
So I'm gonna ask now for those individuals that are interested in being a prosecutor. No, just hold on. Don't worry about it. Just hold on. Those that are interested in being a prosecutor, So, a defense attorney represents those that are accused of crime, prosecutors, is the one that prosecutes them. Okay, come forward. And which one are you interested in? What are you interested in? And what are you interested in? Defense? And what are you interested in? I can't hear you. Right, talk loud. Use your outdoor voice. They're both attorneys. The question was, do you want to do defense or prosecution? Prosecution. Okay. I'm gonna have you come stand up here. And I one more volunteer for you. Okay, so you want to be one of that. Okay. You stay put. You have your hand up. I'm only asking about the attorneys right now. Are there any other people in the room that want to either, I need one more volunteer or defense? So we have 3 chairs. Don't sit in the door. You need a seat. The student next to the teacher. Yes. All right. And the student that's sitting in the door, young lady, come sit in one of these chairs. And as well as you. No. You okay. Hold your chair up some so that you don't bump your head. Okay. There you go. Then you should be much more comfortable. Okay. All right. So. Everybody back. Okay. No questions right now. The judge will be back in judge attire. Okay. But while I'm away, you're going to hear some comments or remarks from the mayor. And one chair, if you can grab one of the chairs for right here. Yes. So our mayor's going to give you some greetings while the judge makes a quick change.
Yes. Well, thank you, Judge.
This is Mayor Wheeler, our mayor for the city of Huntington.
Yeah. Well, it's good to see all of you.
Hello there.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good.
So, Marwan, how am I recording? Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So, well, it's quite an opportunity. Not many, in fact, I don't know of any other classrooms and that are getting this opportunity to learn a little bit about the court system and the judicial system. So I'm here to encourage you. I'm encouraging this work. I think it's important that you get an idea of what goes on, what your public servants are doing in the city on all of our behalf. And so I have a role in this. I'm the administration. So I'm the one that oversees all the departments in the city. I have direct reports from all of them, including the chief of police and the fire department. And I'm a separate one of the 3 branches of government, the executive branch. The Judge Flood is the judicial branch. And of course, we have the legislative branch, city council. So how many of you remember me coming around to your doorsteps? So a few of you. So yeah, and that's part of a democracy. I do work for you, and I don't work for you individually, but I work for the entire city, individuals as a whole for the entire city. And so, again, I just appreciate the opportunity to come down and say hello and turn it over to the judge.
That's the mic. Good afternoon. So, as you all know, I'm Tracy Flood, the presiding judge here at the Bremerton Municipal Court. And I am the elected judge. I was elected on November 2nd of 2021. And just to kind of give you a brief overview of how the judicial branch works here in Washington State is we have administrative law judges, and Andrea Jarman here is an administrative law judge. And then we have our courts of limited jurisdiction. And the difference between courts of limited jurisdiction and administrative courts judges is you may see an administrative judge if you were driving across the narrow bridge and you got a ticket for not paying your tolls. So that would go to the Washington State Office of Administrative Hearings. Other things that are heard on an administrative level may include workers' compensation issues, child support issues, driver's license, suspension, and things like that. Then when you move up to the courts of limited jurisdiction, which is the Bremerton Municipal Court and District Courts, those are criminal matters, and those criminal matters and some civil matters are heard at that level. And today's skit is going to involve a criminal matter. So you're going to get to experience a very fast-paced criminal trial today, from start to finish. Then, from the municipal and district court levels, and also in district court, you can get a name change. Then it goes up to Superior Court. And if there's any issues at the municipal court, district court, and court of administration, it can be appealed to Superior Court. And if there's any issues with Superior Court, it can be appealed to the Court of Appeals. And then if the Court of Appeals doesn't do what some people think they should do, you will then hope that the Supreme Court of the United States, or the Supreme Court of Washington first, hears your case. And then if you're unhappy there, just like we recently saw the case regarding, and you guys have talked about in your classes, regarding the Bremerton High School, and they're at the U.S. Supreme Court. So that's the highest court in America. There's several steps of federal cases. You have the circuit court appeals that's there too. So that's kind of a quick step ladder of the processes of things in our courts. But one of the things that is important for judges to do is to provide opportunities like this to provide education around the justice system as a whole. So today, I have special guests from our State Patrol, their K-9 unit. They're going to talk to you about that. We also have the Bremerton Police Department present. And they're going to do some of the role. He's going to do some role playing with you, along with our chief, our captain from the Washington State Patrol. So we've got a couple of officers here. They're going to interact with you so you can get the full, say, meal deal, happy meal deal of what it's like to know what a day in a trial would be like, and to understand how judges look at things, how the city prosecutor and prosecutors look at things, how defense looks at things, and then kind of just the overall of finding yourself in certain situations where you may not always make the right decisions, but having the tools to make the right decisions is what we want to prepare you for today. So, that being said, I'm going to hand it over to our Washington State Patrol, and they're going to do a presentation for you, and then we're going to finish the selecting of those individuals who want to volunteer for our mini trial. That is all for now. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge Flood. Good afternoon, everybody. You guys awake after lunch? Hello, hello. My name is Trooper Rachel Gardner,
And I'm Trooper Alicia Gruszewski.
and this is Captain James Muir. He's the captain for the Bremerton District, which includes how many counties?
7 counties.
7 counties. So we, Allie and I are both canine troopers with the Washington State Patrol. The main focus of the Washington State Patrol is traffic law enforcement. Usually you'll see troopers in this nice, pretty blue uniform. They work the road. They make up the majority of our troopers. They stop speeders, report crashes, and just generally keep everyone safe on the roadway. In the Washington State Patrol, there's lots of different specialty positions that you can apply for, interview for. And both of us were lucky enough to get into our canine unit. We have 2 types of canine dogs, not dogs per se, but 2 different types of things that our canines in the Washington State Patrol look for. Can everybody tell me what one of them might be?
Isn't it like gunpowder?
Looking for 2 specific, yes, but 2 specific things. There's 2 different types of detection dogs.
Ones that search for illegal drugs.
Yes, so narcotics dogs. What would the other one be?
One that search for bombs.
Yeah, or an explosive detection dog. So we have narcotics dogs and explosive detection dogs. Our narcotic dogs work the road with the troopers. They stop cars and look for drugs. We work at the ferry terminal. How many of you guys ride the ferry here? So a lot of times you'll see us down at the ferry terminal. We screen the vehicles before they get on the boat looking for any type of explosives. We do often find fireworks and sometimes firearms if they've been recently shot. Those are some of the things that our dogs will pick up on. So all of our dogs, whether they're explosive or narcotic detection dogs, are trained in the same way. And you can basically train a dog to find anything you would like them to find. Use this whiteboard real quick. So all of our dogs go through a class. We help train the dogs. Some of our troopers go to Texas and have a little bit of different training, but all of these dogs, when they are taught to find explosive or narcotics, they're all trained in the same way. It's progression training. So we have what are called scent boxes. And this is how we start. So this box, this is looking at it from the lid, would have 4 or 5 holes in it, and it's got hinges. And this lid will pop up. And what we'll do is put an explosive aid in one of these holes. And the first thing we want to do, as soon as the dog comes to the hole, puts their nose in it, smells that, we give them a toy right away. All of our dogs are a toy reward. Obviously, if you have explosives, you don't want your dogs digging or biting at explosives. That would be a bad thing, right? Yeah. Same thing with narcotics. We wouldn't want our dogs to do the same with that because they can get into their system to kill them. So we do it's a progression training. They smell the odor, they get their toy. We play with them. And we'll do that a whole bunch of times. And then we eventually change to where they smell the odor, they have to sit for us, then they get their toy. As my husband used to be one of our canine trainers, he said the dogs are the easy part of it. The people are the ones that make his life difficult as a canine trainer. And this is just the thing that they do over and over and over again. With enough reps, these dogs will smell the odor, they'll sit, and they'll get their toy. After that.
So the other thing is that sometimes we can have ones where the toy comes out from behind it. So there's someone behind the wall that can come out and then their toy comes out at them. And that surprises them, but then they know that they did the right thing. Not the right odor.
So the great thing about our dogs is they are able to smell these odors that we can't see. A lot of times, if you took a dog's nose, peeled it apart, and opened it up, it's going to be a big section that they're able with tunnels that they're able to smell with. So if you walk into a room and you see a pepperoni pizza, you go, "Oh yeah, I'm going to have pizza." The dog walks into the room, they smell the pepperoni, they smell the cheese, they smell the sauce, they probably smell the spices that are in the sauce, the dough. They're able to smell all those little things in the pizza. They're able to detect it much better than we ever could. So it's a teamwork effort between the 2 of us. We have to train with our dogs to know when they display certain behavior that they're on alert. We're going to have, Allie's going to bring her dog up here in a little while. So you guys will get a demonstration and kind of get to see what our dogs do. I'm sweating here and I can't think what I'm.
Yeah, it's so hard to deal with.
They are. Yeah. So all of our dogs, we use anything from labs, shepherds, lots of different dogs. What is something that all those dogs have in common that make them good protection dogs?
Good noses.
Yeah, good noses, exactly. What would be a dog that, thinking about what she just said, what would be a dog that would not make a good explosive detection or narcotic detection dog? A pug. Absolutely. Why? Why? I didn't hear what he said. They're what? I still can't hear you.
He said he's kind of stupid.
Well, it isn't even really, it doesn't have anything to do with that. I would say I don't have the smartest dog in the world, but her nose works really well. That's all I care about. It isn't really about their brains, it's about their nose. Pugs, bulldogs, they all have squish faces. They don't, it isn't that they can't smell, but obviously they're not going to be as good at it as some of the other dogs. Okay, does anybody have questions just in general?
What about dogs that find monsters?
Yeah, we were actually just talking about that. There's a couple different kinds. There's search and rescue dogs who actually will find dogs who are, or dogs, sorry, people who are alive. So you've got search and rescue dogs, and then they will also have dogs that specifically find people who are deceased. So those are two kinds of protection dogs.
Isn't there a type of like a type of dog that like tries to sniff out what like started the fire?
Yes, actually, we were talking about that. They have arson detection dogs, and it's actually accelerant detection. So just like how our canines are trained on a multitude of odors, not just one type of explosive, and our dogs are trained on the parts of it. It isn't that we have bombs that they go find. They go find the C4 or the black powder that those explosives are made with. So our dogs have many different odors that they're trained to find. Same thing with accelerant detection dogs. People use them. They use them in the airports, not just for explosives, but also for illegal fruit and vegetables. You can't bring that kind of stuff in certain places. Shed antler dogs. Basically, the same method where we have a progression training, where we just over and over and over again. You can train your dog to find anything. You have a question? Funny enough, for a long time, and I'm not sure if it's still there, in the Guinness Book of World Records for the U.S., the smallest detection dog in the U.S. was a Chihuahua. It was half Chihuahua, half rat terrier, maybe. Her name was Midge. She was about 8 or 9 pounds, and she was just trying to sniff out marijuana. But because she was so small, she could easily get in nooks and crannies and get under things. So yeah, absolutely, they're pretty smart dogs too.
So why can't you use treat systems?
That's an excellent question.
Well, you got
Oh, you already have one. You get another. Okay, excellent question. So we use a toy reward method for our dogs. Each of our dogs maybe has a specific toy that they like. My dog loves tennis balls. Some dogs like squeaky toys, although generally don't like that as much. Allie's dog has kind of a, it's like a blue squishy tennis ball kind of thing. The ATF is one of the only agencies that use food to reward their dogs, and I never understood it until I was able to work with some of them. And the reason that they do that is because often when the ATF is called out to go to use their dogs, they're at a very large scene. It could be a bombing, it could be an aircraft that went down. So they're going to have to work their dogs for several hours. Every time that my dog gets a toy, I play with her. I get her all wound up. She gets all excited. And she loses a lot of energy that way. So the ATF, they just give a little bit of food. Their dog can keep going. So they can work for a much longer time if they're a food reward. The problem becomes every time you want to feed that dog for dinner or breakfast or whatever it is, you've got to put an aid out for them. So it can be a little tricky, but that's why. In the back there? You know, that probably at one time was the case, and we do have a lot of shepherds. The state patrol does not discriminate against any kind of dog except for maybe a pug. We had, at one time, we had 9 pit bulls that were explosive detection dogs. The reason a lot of pit bulls end up in the towns is because they have a lot of energy. They're destroying people's houses. They all need a job. So we have German short hairs, German wire hair pointers, labs, shepherds. My personal favorite is a Belgian Malinois. You name it. We don't care what it is as long as it wants to find the odor, and then they get their toy. Did anybody have a question that I haven't called on yet? That's okay. Go ahead. Did you have another question?
Do you also have bloodhounds?
We don't. Bainbridge Island actually has a bloodhound. Bloodhounds are, while they are exceptional dogs, they probably have the best nose of any dog out there. The way they alert is through baying, where they make that big bark really hard. We don't want that, and that isn't something you can really change with those dogs because it's just instinctual on their part. They're excellent for search and rescue, for finding live people. That's what they're, and the dog they have on Bainbridge Island is to find lost kids, elderly people, that kind of thing.
So while you were talking about something like my dog, so is each dog trained for a certain person and you like stay with that dog?
So, good question. When we start, so like, I'm on my third dog. The first time I went to our academy, and they had, I think there was 6 of us in the class. They had 12 dogs. So we worked all of those dogs, and then eventually, sometimes the dogs, they maybe start out looking like they want to do this. They get bored. They don't want to do it. Different reasons. But as we work through, we find that we work better with certain dogs. Sometimes it's the dog that you like. Sometimes it's the dog you don't like. And so the trainer usually decides. You do get a little bit of input, but the trainer will say, you're going to work with this dog. So then once they choose which dog you're going to work with, you start working with that dog and become certified. I'm the only person that can work my dog at a scene now because I'm certified with her. She goes home with me. She lives at my house. Usually when they retire, we keep them afterwards. But when I say my dog, I'm certified with her, so that's who I go work with. Okay, I know you guys have questions and we'll do it afterwards. So Allie's gonna bring Emma in. So when she comes in, she's actually gonna come along through these chairs. So I'd like you guys to tuck your feet in, hands in your lap. Please don't try and pet the dog. This is a really good lesson for everybody. If you see a working dog, you can always ask if they're not working, if they can pet your dog. Some people will say yes, some people will say no. Emma's a fairly new dog, so don't try and pet her. Don't talk to her. Just be really quiet. She's going to come through. We've got an explosive aid that's underneath this chair. Hopefully everybody will be able to see. After she comes through, in the back, if you want to stand up, you can. But you will see and hear, if you're nice and quiet, she'll sniff louder, and then eventually she's going to sit by the aid, and then she'll get rewarded with her toys. So everybody just hang out for a second. Just make sure you keep your feet back so Allie doesn't trip over them. As you'll see, she does sniff people, but that isn't something that we're able to do right now. Unless your dog is federally trained, you'll see that at the airport. But she will sniff everything in the room as much as she can. One of the things that we have to think about when we're inside and outside, but inside, where's the air coming from in here? It's coming from the air conditioning. It's usually up high. So sometimes when our dog starts to alert, they might alert in a place that isn't actually near the aid, but it's because where the air is pushing the odor. Odor will always drop. So if something is up high, our dog may be smelling it down low. It might pool by one of these desks. So we have to really watch where our dog is looking, pointing her nose.
Nice job.
Cool.
Yeah, she is.
So you can see she's already like pulling. She's trying to figure out where the aid is. And obviously they don't look at things the same way we do. She's following her nose. She's trying to figure out where is that odor coming from. It's dropping down. So even these boards down here. Oh, there you go. See how she turned her head back? She's trying to work out in her brain, where exactly is this aid? She's like, Mom, I smell it. I want my toy. So when we see this behavior, part of our job is to really help these dogs find productive areas to search. So that is the finished product. That's what we want to see. That's a good girl. So after they get their toy, you guys can, now you can applaud. That's all right. Good dog. So afterwards, we really play with them. Part of what they want to do is they want the interaction with us. Did you have a question? Yeah, talk louder too.
Was that a live dog?
What's that? Oh, no, it's just, when I say it's an explosive aid, it is a small portion of something that would go into making a bomb. It's not a bomb in any way. It's just a little piece of it.
Do you ever have the dogs off leash to search for things like that?
We do sometimes, and that is very dependent on the dog and the area that we're in. If we a lot of times have to go to schools if there's been a bomb threat, and depending on the dog, sometimes we'll search off leash inside because there's no people there. If there are people present, I wouldn't ever search my dog. She wouldn't do anything. My last dog was a little more bitey, but it just depends on the area and the dog.
How long does it take to, like, how long do you have to, like, work with your dog and train them before they can actually start going on and it's working?
Yeah, so we go through school. I always forget how many weeks it is.
12.
Yeah,
At least
it's
12.
it's at least 12. For explosive dogs, it's shorter because the narcotics dogs don't have as many odors to look for. So it isn't just the class and the training, then we have to go pass a test. And we go through a certification process, and we can't actually go out and work in the public until we pass that test. Theoretically, yes, you could, but do you ever want to have to question yourself whether you have a bomb or whether you have drugs? No. So our dogs are single purpose. She only looks for explosives. Narcotics dogs only look for drugs because we need to know when they sit. Yes, you could train them, but that's a lot for a dog, and that would take an exceptional amount of not just training in the beginning, but every single day. So we only have single purpose dogs. Some agencies have dual purpose where they track people and drugs or people and explosives, but ours are only single purpose.
Do you use huskies at all?
I can't hear you with that.
Do you use huskies at all?
Typically not. Number one, they get too hot. Our dogs work a lot. Huskies are very strong-headed. They like to go. It isn't. We get a lot of our dogs through the pounds, through rescues. That isn't usually a dog people like to give up. They typically come from a breeder, so we're looking for dogs that are, were either maybe bred to be a hunting dog and it didn't work out. My dog probably was going to be a hunting dog, but she doesn't like water and she doesn't like gunfire, so that's 2 strikes against her. But she makes an exceptional explosive dog. Did you have a question back there?
How many different
So we have anywhere in the neighborhood of like that our dogs can go find. Is that what you're talking about? Like how many different types of things that are there to get? Anywhere from 8 to 15. It changes and it depends on where you were trained at. It's a lot. And so that's one of the reasons why we don't dual train them because like especially the explosive detection dogs have so many aids they need to look for, whereas narcotics dogs only look for 6. And sometimes it changes. Our narcotics dogs for a long time were trained on marijuana. That's legal now, so now they're not. We don't have dogs who are trained to find marijuana. So that big changes, but yeah, it can be a lot.
You got a good guess on the breed of that dog.
Okay,
Looks almost like a lab.
you might be right.
Is it a lab?
It is a lab.
Chocolate lab.
What about it?
Is it chocolate lab?
No, she's a black lab.
But we do have a chocolate one that does work.
Does anybody else have any questions before we finish up?
Anybody else?
Yep.
What about using dogs to not attack but tame people if they're running?
So the state patrol does not have any tracking dogs. Generally, the city and county agencies do that. That's in flux. There are agencies that have tracking dogs right now. We don't though. Yeah. Usually, if we need to track somebody, we call another agency and they come help us.
And not all of the tracking dogs are the type of dogs that fight when they find someone. Some of them are used for search and rescue and things like that. So it's different for apprehension than for tracking and trailing.
Alrighty. Well, thank you for your wonderful presentation as always, and bringing that canine out in. All right. She's in heaven.
Yeah, as you can see, I know some of you can see her.
Because she's not the ball.
That's pretty much what they want. They want their toys, so. All right, you guys have a good afternoon. There are pencils and stickers and that kind of thing. Your teachers can grab some for you. Thank you for your good questions. Appreciate it. Have a good afternoon.
Yes, thank you. Okay. Bye. Oh. Okay, so that was the first part of our day. Now we're gonna get to the fun part where you get to do some interacting. Again, this is just to give you a sense of what happens in our courts and the courts around that deal with criminal matters, which is our courts, the court of limited jurisdiction. If you, soon you'll be driving age. If you're in Bremerton and you get a red light ticket, or you get a parking ticket in the city of Bremerton, any of those things, those matters all come into this court. And that's no matter how old you are. Okay. So the remaining issues that we have is to decide who wants to do what. Now, put your hand down. Put your hand down. You have fast hands. Okay. First, you got to listen to the instructions. Because if you raise your hand and you don't know what you're raising your hand for, you could be volunteering for something that you don't want to volunteer for, and then you can miss the other instructions. We don't want to do that today. So let's do the following. There are several roles, and I believe your teacher may have talked to you about it. There's roles of you're going to be playing students, police officer. We've got our attorney selected, but then there's also going to be the role of judge and 6 jurors who will need to decide what happens at the end. So, any of those who want to be a juror. So, if you're a juror, you don't get to participate as a to hear most of the skit. You will get to participate in the end, and you'll be seated in the jury box, which is over behind. Okay. So, also, I will need a store clerk, a person who works in a store, like when you go to the grocery store, like Fred Meyer, things like that. The person who brings you a store clerk. I will need a police officer, and I will need 1, 2, 3, 4 students, and 1 person who kind of wants to play kind of an adult role.
What?
Okay. An adult, and then 4 students. So, who wants to be the students?
I'm gonna do those in
If I don't get volunteers to be the students, nothing else comes together. So that's probably the most important role. Really is the students. Okay. Okay.
What is the role that you're looking for, Judge?
So on the cast members, on the characters, I need the student players, I need the police officer, I need the store clerk, and then last I'll pick we'll have the jury. And so, who wants to be the store clerk? Okay. What's your name?
Olivia.
Come on up here, Olivia. Stand by the chair. Okay. So we got the store clerk. So you gotta look on there, and then you'll find the row that says store clerk, and that's the part that you'll read. Okay. Now, who wants to be police officer? Let's see. I can take 2 police officers.
I'm not trying to use it.
So, I'm gonna get you. What's your name?
Kristen.
Tristan, come on over. And what's your name?
Abby.
Allie?
Abby.
Abby. So Abby, you're gonna go out in the hallway and follow. And I'm gonna give you 2 scripts. Yes, we've got to. Now, we need a roll for. Come on. Come on, students. So I need a Alvin, someone who wants to play the role of Alvin, and someone who wants to. Do you want to play Alvin?
Oh, I don't care. She just said that the scene was like a legal thing. So.
I am the best. Come on up.
Now you're getting all the
So-
volunteers.
So, so you're gonna play Alvin, but you can of course change. Yeah, we'll play Alvin. There we go. All right. They can be. Okay, who wants to be Barry? Okay. Okay. So. Okay. Okay. In addition to Barry, I will need a Calvin, a Mary, and a John. So. Let's see. Are you here, Lefty? You look familiar. Like one of the two. Yeah. Okay. 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 You know who I'm talking about too, huh? Okay. Let's see. Okay, since I said you look like, so Barry, you're gonna say Barry. Did you want to be somebody else? Okay, could be John. You be Barry. Okay, no, you're gonna be Barry. And then you're gonna be Calvin. You're gonna be Mary. Are you a Mary? No. Why you laugh? You didn't want to be married? Okay. Let's see who. Now who did I say was Alvin? Okay, you're Alvin. And who's Barry? Okay, so Alvin and Barry are together. Stand together. Alvin and Barry, and Bryn, if you can come over and assist Alvin and Barry and Calvin and Mary with their role. So you can, I'm gonna have, you can come around and you guys can step into the hallway there.
Wait, what is an actress?
So Alvin, Barry, Calvin, and Mary are gonna go with Bryn. You're just gonna practice.
Wait, no, I'm married.
Alvin, Barry, Calvin, and Mary. Okay, so the store clerk is gonna say, and John is gonna say.
Hi.
Hi. Hi, I'm John. Okay. Okay. I also need someone who wants to be the judge. He said the dude. Okay.
He is a very honorable man.
John, let's see. So, what's your, I'm gonna have you work with John. So John's kind of playing an adult. Yes. So if you can help him practice his lines. Okay. Go over there. And you're the store clerk. You got your lines? You got like 2 lines. You got it, okay. All right. Okay. So, let's see. Yeah. So, I'm gonna have, tell me your name. Judy. And what's your name? What is your name? Jody. Jody, not Judy. Okay, Jody. And Gio. So we got 2 G's. You're gonna go with Andrea German. She's gonna go over what it would be like to be a judge. Okay. Yes. And we're gonna go, and you probably got my hand all over the mic and didn't hear any of that out there. And can go around to the conference. You can grab a robe for the roller. You want to show the conference. Okay. So then I'll take 6 people who will be the jurors next. Okay. All right. They're ready for you. Uh-oh. You can go talk to the people. Let's see if they defend with you. Or you're going to stop. Oh, stuff like that. So you actually have 2 people. So you can bring them out. Because they won't get the. So Mr. Stanley is going to talk with you about defense role, and Mr. Trench is going to talk with you about defense. Oh, this is prosecute defense. Okay. All right. And let's see. You will be the remaining jurors. Okay. Okay. So, 4 and 2. Thank you. So, now you guys will start
Actually needs either consent of the individual
Or warrants.
or yep, exactly. And so when things like that
I watched a lot of detective movies with my parents.
yep, they have to have the warrant.
My parents watched that.
But because they didn't have it either in this one, we can get like the evidence of the alcohol suppressed for this And so if the procedure would probably like so would either of you like to do the opening argument? Okay, so there'll be plenty of time to speak for both of you, but yeah, whoever wants to.
And this,
You sound like you want to take on the closing argument. You're just raise your hand for you. I'm not opening. So, yeah. All right then. Would anyone like to do the suppression motion on this? You would? Okay, great. And then would you like to do the cross-examination of the officer? Okay, fantastic. So how that works is when the officer comes up there, you'll ask the officer, now, when you search this car, like, do you need any like specific authorizations or permissions to search a vehicle?
Well, driving under the influence of any sort.
Consent unless there are exigent circumstances such as the destruction of evidence or like risk of danger to the community. And then were there exigent circumstances?
You gotta stop taking your mask off. I can hear you.
You high schoolers in a car. So that's say,
Wait, we'll wait until then.
you give me the warrant from like consent from the individual before searching the car. And basically, then we'll move for the suppression motion. And then we'll speak up and say, Your Honor, I make a motion to suppress this suppress the evidence of the alcohol. There was no, this was an illegal search. It must be stricken from the record as fruit of a poisonous tree. A very specific term that means that if the evidence was obtained improperly, then it must be like tossed out because it's tainted. Yeah.
that.
Yeah, that's right. You manufacture the evidence outside of the proper procedure. Wise, they have a lot of kind of give. The other one that is going to like come into play is this permission for taking the car. So
You got it?
have all clients established whether they're all from the vehicle. Okay, and so we're going to figure out on the stand whether they borrowed it as from the vehicle, and if there was a potential violation. Theoretically, you can establish a pattern of practice where because it's just like if the uncle was just letting the kid take the car every in a week and doesn't have to ask permission all the time because he does it so often. That's right. You could imply permission there to have a potential defense act on it. Yeah, so. Do you have any questions as far as the procedure or anything like that?
Yeah, the 6.
The opening statement basically saying you can be as clear as you like with the opening statement, but basically just say something along the lines of you're here because prosecution. You can call it improper prosecution if you want. Prosecution using evidence that was illegally obtained. These, like, my clients are innocent of this. We prove it, and we expect the acquittal on all charges by means of this is what we kind of sounds like
Not yet. Yep, the judge.
Why was I thinking?
I'm not sure what you're thinking that. You'll probably need to pull up these things.
It's trying to attack you.
You know what we're doing? We're in this model trying to spin these people.
We heard what they put in charge of. Fighting over this battle. But they,
All right, once all the kids are the kids back from the restroom break? Everybody's back? Okay.
hey, we can try.
You're supposed to be positive.
We're gonna probably lose. Yeah. Okay, well, try what we can. Try what we can, okay?
Yeah. Even though we might lose because of the
Yes.
Why was joking?
I mean, then again, we are fighting Stellan and Sam, so it might be easy. It might be. Oh, that might help us. Sam.
You insulted Stellan the episode.
I'm not insulting Stellan. I'm saying Sam. It's hard to understand. So that might give us some. That might help us.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, make it easier. Like
All the
if he's
actors have
gonna
already
be talking, it's gonna make it.
Okay,
Yeah,
let's
I have my lights. Do you wanna bring? Do you wanna try doing Beyblades on Monday? Mhm.
just like the one you.
You wanna try doing Beyblades on Monday, maybe? I can bring mine.
And I just feel like can't stick to it. I got
Yeah.
I have a couple of Beyblades and like 2 things to actually use them.
I full statement.
I don't have a CD. I use a cardboard
While
box.
they have that,
I have a whole chest of pieces.
go fix jerk,
I have
I
a
said, when I
couple
put
of
it in that chest,
go with your teeth.
I plug them in, I just don't.
Yeah, you have.
Son.
I just put it back.
Hi, Jordan.
Okay. Let's get ready to.
That was a matter of feelings.
All right, so we're ready to get started. You're gonna be taking a overview of pictures.
Say this for 5 minutes now. Oh, we got this.
The bag's so scary.
Do you understand? Do you understand what that is, though?
Yeah.
Are we ready? Let's see.
I don't think we have the, the state's council here.
Did you find them?
I did not find them. Where's your lobster?
I know.
We lost our prosecutors. Does that mean we won?
Automatically win.
We actually never did anyone wrong.
I know. Okay.
Certainly.
Okay,
I'm at
So,
the window.
you guys are police
With
officers.
auto.
So,
I
I need,
we lost them.
Yep, my clients tell that.
want to be the narrator? Okay.
No.
So the narrator is the person. Okay. Okay. There you go.
Let's see, go.
So you wanna come?
Maverick,
All right.
my house is very confusing. It's 100 years old, and it used to be.
This
I can't
is our
remember.
youth and law forum, take
Story.
one. We start with Barry, who's the narrator? Narrator, you're gonna read this, you're gonna read this, you're gonna read the top, the verses, and I top it. Okay?
One day, during Alvin, Barry versus Alvin.
Hey, Alvin. What's up? I'm going to go to the mall. You want to come? Who cares? Let's ditch this place.
Okay, 5.
Alvin collects his books and the two sneaks out of the school building. As Alvin and Barry were walking towards the street, they see Calvin and Mary.
Hey, Calvin and Mary. You guys at school too? Good. We can have some fun. Calvin, do you have your car today?
Oh, wait. No, my mom needed it today. Her car is in shop.
I've actually got my uncle's car. He's staying over at our house. He has school ride. I was going to ask him this morning if I could use his car to go to school, but he was asleep. I took the keys anyway. I'm sure he won't mind.
Cool. Hey, we're going to mom. You guys want to come? Sure, we were headed that way anyway. Al.
Let me finish smoking this week.
I'm sorry.
The way that they said it so plaintively.
Calvin too?
You guys better finish up before getting on this fire.
The four friends get into the car and drive towards the mall.
So you gotta turn around like you're in the car. Who's driving? So who's driving?
Devo, be a car. Devo, be a car. Devo, you can turn.
Okay, you need to stand in position like you're in a car. That's very important. So figure out what you're doing.
Wow.
So who's the driver? Who's driving?
Not me. He's there.
Okay, who's sitting next to the driver? Okay, Who's in the back? All right. And make sure you have your props.
Oh, yeah, I've got my props.
Where's the bottle?
The bottle is right here. John is supposed to.
So they need their props.
Wait, you guys already have them?
You're in the car.
Who is John?
Okay.
Yeah.
Put this, no, the bottle.
We can't have them.
Mary needs the bottle.
I'm not Mary.
Oh, you're the third clerk.
Yes.
Give it to the third clerk. Like, somebody will give me. Okay, go. Take two.
I'm thirsty. Let's get something to drink in the toy store.
Okay, hey, there's your brother Barry. Can you get him to buy some good stuff?
Barry stops the car.
Sure. Hey, John, come over here. What's up? How did you get Uncle Joe to let you borrow his car? Please don't see. I just took the keys. I figured he wouldn't mind. Can you do us a favor and buy us a couple 40s? Are you guys really? Yeah, that's fine. Don't worry. You won't do anything stupid. Okay, fine. Just don't get in trouble.
John goes into the store while the others wait outside. John comes out with a 40 in a brown paper bag and hands the bag to Barry.
Here you go. You guys can fit it.
Cool, thanks. We need to go to the store. I ran out of cigarettes. Alvin took my last one.
Okay, hurry. Make it quick.
Hold on, Calvin. I'll come with you.
Calvin and Mary walk into the store. Before walking into the store,
How are you going to get cigarettes when you're not 18 years old?
Hell, watch.
in the store, Calvin approaches the store clerk while Mary goes around the store and puts something in his pocket.
Can I have a pack of those cigarettes?
Do you have ID?
Come on, if I'm from you all the time, you don't need. Okay, here you go.
Store clerk and Calvin complete the transaction. Calvin and Mary go out the side and back into the car.
Got my cigarettes, we're ready to go. Look what else I got. He takes it. Oh, that's not my thing. Get Mary that way.
Wait, what? No, it says Calvin says, I got my cigarettes, we're ready to go. And then Mary says, look what else I got. Wait, what?
And then I narrate, he takes out a bunch of chips.
Oh, okay. Barry begins to drive. Calvin is in the front seat. Alvin and Mary are in the back seat.
So Alvin and Mary are in the back seat. So Alvin, you gotta go to the back seat right there. You're in the front seat. Okay.
Alvin, pass me 40. I want to look through that.
Alvin does so.
Hey, watch it. There's a cop behind us.
It's okay.
Great. Wait, siren turn. Okay, hide it.
Barry slowed down to a stop. Officer approaches the car.
Can I see your license? Sure.
Barry hands him his license.
You know this Really? I didn't know. Could I get everyone to step down?
Everyone does what they are told. Officer searches the car without asking permission and he finds the alcohol.
Whose alcohol is this? Where'd you guys get all this food?
No one answers.
Are you aware that this car was reported stolen? Do you have any idea how much trouble you are all in?
No.
That's where we conclude. During this breakout session, everyone will realize how much trouble these kids are in.
Okay. All right. So
That's not nice.
that's the end of the role play. So now we've got the officers. We gotta go back to officer view. Go back to police station, take the goods. Mark the evidence on that.
No, in a coat.
Mark evidence.
You won't get a pack of
And you four are gonna go sit in the black chair. You've been arrested. You're in jail.
We got you guys covered. Hopefully.
Hey, I keep it over there.
Okay. So,
We hopefully got you guys covered. Hopefully. There he is. There he is. He's going up to the bench. Okay. Gio and the other one's Jody. Okay. Let's do this.
How did you have
Let's do this.
you have kids?
I need one more volunteer. Who wants to be the beta? Best job.
Who's the baby? They was Hamlin.
I have the jury and the 2 police officers. Okay. Where's the officer?
All right.
Stand up, stand up, stand up. If you're in the courtroom, stand up.
It's the rules, everyone up.
Court is now in session.
Which officer is coming first?
Court is now in session. The honorable judges are presiding. You may now be seated. Please ready for the case?
When the attorney speaks, you have to stand up.
Yeah, I guess so. I said yeah.
We are, Your Honor.
You're asking to put charges on possession of taking the permission of cigarettes, drug and shoplifting. Shoplifting, taking vehicle without permission, possession of alcohol, possession of cigarettes.
The charges are possession of alcohol, possession of cigarettes, shoplifting, driving without a valid license, and stealing a car.
We request the court enter pleas of not guilty at this time.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Officer Evan.
I do. Everything's your job.
The jury has now been seated.
City, you may begin to question your witness.
Officer, please identify yourself.
My name is Officer Abby.
What do you what do you do for a living?
I work as a police officer for the Farmington Police Department.
What kind of stuff did you see?
So what I saw was alcohol, drugs, stolen candy, and stolen chips.
Okay. Whose possession was the stolen property in?
I don't recall.
Oh no, I forgot.
It was a child's hands.
Why exactly did you pull them over?
They crossed the center line.
Okay, I think that's a good reason to pull them. I don't know.
The license plates have been stolen too.
When did you pull them over?
I pulled them over. I pulled them over on January 1st, 2022.
Okay, that's oddly specific, but okay. What did you notice about the driver? Did they appear a little cuckoo to you? What?
The driver looked a little underage to be drinking.
Okay, all right. That's good. Did you see any alcohol or any ciggies in the car?
Yes, we did see.
Okay. Was said vehicle stolen or reported as stolen?
It was reported as stolen, sir.
Okay. By who? No. Was the driver the registered owner of the vehicle?
Absolutely not.
Okay. All right. What did you I can't speak. What kind of stuff did you find while you were searching the vehicle? I just want to know.
Okay, I found alcohol, cigarettes, and some stolen goods.
Did you find any dollary dues?
I don't recall.
That's your response.
Did you see any drugs?
Yes, I did.
Order in the court.
Did Did the driver have a punctument in
Order of
his
the
or her
court.
skin?
Please be silent while the witnesses are testifying.
Restate your question.
Did the driver have a punctument in his or her skin? Did the driver's skin appear to be punctured?
No.
Did the driver's breath smell funny?
Yes.
Did they appear to be intoxicated?
No.
So the defense can ask the officer questions.
You a witness?
Jeez. Has the prosecution finished with his questions?
I'm sorry, what's that?
Does the prosecution have any more questions for this witness?
No, siree.
Defense counsel, do you have any cross-examination?
We do, Your Honor.
Please proceed.
Do you need any permission to search a vehicle? In this case, no. Why? Because I believed a crime was committed. The Fourth Amendment guarantees citizens' rights against unwarranted search and seizure. Did you have a warrant? I did not. In lieu of a warrant, did you have consent of the occupants of the vehicle? No. In this case, were there exigent circumstances requiring the immediate search of the vehicle? Repeat. Were there exigent circumstances requiring the immediate search of the vehicle? No. Your Honor, at this moment, I would like to submit a request to suppress evidence of the alcohol found in the car.
Any response as to this? Any response of the prosecution
What if well the alcohol was in plain view, so they can't suppress it. I don't know. I forgot what I was supposed to say. I need help. But was the alcohol hidden or in plain sight?
Yes, it was in plain sight.
Okay. Alright. Oh.
This search was not constitutional. The motion is granted.
Thank you, Your Honor. No further questions.
Prosecution, are you ready to succeed with your next witness?
Yes, Your Honor. Calling Officer Tristan.
Sorry, I don't know what to do. You swear to tell the whole truth. Do you swear to tell the whole truth?
Please state your name for the record.
Officer Tristan.
What is your current occupation?
I am a police officer. I'm a police officer for the city of Brampton.
Now, Officer Tristan, what did you see?
I saw a vehicle traveling along the road, crossing the center line and the fog line.
While it was crossing, were you able to intercept the vehicle when it was stopped?
I stopped the vehicle because of the lane travel.
Okay. Did you see anything illegal in the car?
Yeah. I saw.
Objection, Your Honor. Um, the evidence.
What's the base of your objection?
The evidence of the alcohol was already removed from the record. Is that what it is? The motion to suppress prevents any evidence of the alcohol on the record this time. At this time.
I also saw 4 kids during school hours.
Sustained.
Officer Tristan, just to make sure Officer Abby is not a dirty liar, was the car reported stolen?
Yes, we made it where the car was stolen.
Okay. Who is the registered owner of the car, or were the drivers of the car the registered owners?
The car was reported stolen, and the driver was not the owner.
Okay. What? Was the owner present in the car? Was he unconscious? To cover up any evidence?
No. No.
Okay. All right. Good. Was the driver licensed? Was the license expired or still or still valid?
The license was expired.
Okay. All right. Settle.
Counselor? During search incident and arrest, we found tobacco products on the juveniles.
Which kid was in possession of the cigarette?
Calvin had the cigarettes.
Did you see the package of the cigarette? Did you see the package of the cigarette?
Yes, and I also saw the stolen items Mary had. And I'm ashamed of Mary.
Um, did these kids have a prior criminal record?
I'm not aware of that.
Prosecution rest.
We are here. Um, given given that we have established that illegal search took place and we have suppressed evidence regarding that search, why should we allow evidence from about the other things come? All these other allegations come in from the same stop. So, since we've already established that it's an illegal search, why should the other evidence come in that from the come into the case from the same incident?
Ethical complaint. Bruh.
The court finals the search. The court finals the search was illegal, and the prosecution cannot prosecution cannot meet burden. The case is dismissed with the exception of the suspension license. The suspended license charge.
So, court file.
The file of formal 3.6.
Yes, you have reached the verdict. Those meddling children are guilty.
Good job. Amazingly spoken words, good sir. How dare you?
All right. Okay, so. We did have to read through that. But I'm gonna have our two officers come forward and discuss what would normally happen. No, not you, not
We know.
Okay, and just kind of,
You.
All right. So, yeah, my name's Aaron. I'm a lieutenant with Bremerton PD. Officer Tristan and Officer Abby did a great job. Although the defense, they beat up on her pretty good. They had you guys had a lot of great points. So I think first of all, what I'd say is we ended up going, 4 kids were in a car. They were doing some things they probably shouldn't have been doing. They get stopped and involved with the police, and it goes to trial. And we could have all avoided this by going to school. Or it's a tough world for you kids today. Like I was a kid once, if you can believe it. But I don't have the pressures and the distractions that you guys do now. I mean, you guys have a lot, social media and phones and friends that are way grown up beyond what I was at your age. So you have a lot of pressure. That was part of it, peer pressure. When they started to acquire more and more kids to get in the car to not go to school and to go to the mall and to go do other things like steal stuff and use weed and use marijuana or use alcohol. That's all stuff that is really hard to do the right thing. And sometimes, you do things that you don't want to do because you want to fit in. So try to avoid that. Don't follow if it's going to land you in some hot water. Somebody had a question. Go ahead. Oh, actually in that bag? Some high quality water. Yeah. So,
like high quality Bremerton tap water.
So coming on into the to the legal system, and what we watched here today is it's a process. You have a judge who oversees this courtroom and oversees the process and how it goes. You have a defense counsel that is there to benefit the kids in this case, and they want to make sure that the laws and the rules are applied correctly. And you have a prosecution over here that's trying to prove the case based on what the officers saw out there and their reports say and the evidence that was collected. And you saw in a couple instances the defense won some arguments by saying that the search was illegal. Therefore, or this evidence shouldn't be allowed in court and used against the kids. And that's accurate. So you can see that there can be mistakes made through this process, but there's a lot of checks and balances all the way from this chair to those chairs, and even including these guys. It starts with us. If we're not out there doing what we're taught to do and we're making mistakes, this is going to catch it. Okay? This and the judges are going to catch it. So it's a really, I think it's really good that you guys are in here doing this. I'm happy to be a part of it, even though we took some beatings and took some lumps up there because we didn't do the right thing. It's a good way to explain to you and show to you what this process is and how it works. And so I'm happy to be part of it. Thank you for letting me be here. And I saw one hand over here.
Yeah.
Make it be an easy question.
Okay, so I actually have two really good ones.
Sure.
One, before an arrest, isn't it like protocol that you have to read your Miranda rights? I don't remember us being read.
Good point.
Yeah.
That is
So-
a good point. We said.
How did they even know that the goods were stolen? Mary just had them.
These are great questions. There's a lot of holes in that script, Your Honor.
And it's meant, so the holes in the script are meant for you to think about the process and to do exactly what you're doing, which is questioning what happened and being able to think about the issues, spot the issues, and really just process what really happened.
Yep. So great questions. No, does Miranda have to be read before you're arrested? No. Usually what happens prior to you being arrested is you're told you're under arrest. But at some point before I ask you questions, before custody or interrogation comes Miranda. Yeah. And how would I know that that stuff's stolen? I'd have to have more evidence. I'd have to have maybe a call from the. Listen, lady.
We
I'd
know.
have to have a call from the store that these people with a really good description, maybe a vehicle and a plate, maybe close in proximity. I see the vehicle, I can stop it and do a follow-up like investigation. I have to have some stuff beforehand. So good job. We'll give you an application. And how old are you? about 10-ish years.
And one of the things that happened with the last class is the officer actually testified that there was a stolen goods reported from the clerk. So each class thinks through things differently and the testimony comes across differently. So yes. So in the last proceedings, the stolen goods was allowed in because of the testimony that was given. And this time, the officer's testimony was full of holes because everything didn't get out. Oh, it's okay.
One more?
It's okay. It's okay.
Go ahead.
I don't know if this is a good question, but wouldn't the store clerk be like in trouble or whatever for selling kids cigarettes?
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, of course. There's some other people that have some responsibility in this whole thing too. And then the whole stolen car thing. That's got a bunch of wrinkles in it too. Like, did the uncle steal the car? Was it the uncle's car that the kids stole? We don't know. They never told me who the registered owner was, right? Or I didn't ask. So there's a lot of, you can go a lot of places with this story. I'm going to let Captain Muir get on this thing too.
Oh,
There we go. Okay.
so some of the things we talked about was specifically with the officers is there were some tough questions. Can we all say yeah to that? There's some good questions by our attorneys up here. But what did we talk about that we never do?
That we never tell a lie.
Exactly. We might not know the answer and how many you gave you a couple. I don't know. Ooh. And one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to stand up here. You don't want to lie. Don't want to make something up. And then sometimes you just come up with a good attorney and they come up with some holes. And so we go back as officers and we also learn where we could have done better. Now, obviously, we would not have searched a car without what? Right.
Or consent.
Or consent. We can ask if it's okay if we search your car, and sometimes people say yes. So, what do you got?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right. What do you got for in the jury box over here? The unsung heroes. Can we accuse a person of withholding information? Oh, not law enforcement. That's something I think, Your Honor, you probably handle that. So one last little thing that we talked about is up here as law enforcement officers, who are we telling the story for, and who are the attorneys telling the story for?
The attorney is for the police officers who arrested them.
We got another hand?
My brain went blank.
Who are we telling the story for? Yeah, but when we're up here, we're telling them for these people right here. These are our moms and dads who get a letter and say they have to come do a jury summons, and they're the ones that have to say, they more likely not committed a crime or did not commit a crime. So that's why our officer, we give good eye contact and professionalism to the attorneys. And then we want to make sure we look at our jurors over here that are taking time out of their day, and then we give them the answers and good eye contact and the respect, because they're taking a lot of time out of their day to come here. Sometimes they got to take a day off, miss a baseball game or a softball game. But these are the unsung heroes. So make sure when you get a jury summons, you come and help our community, and that way we can hold each other accountable. All right, that's all I got.
It's part of that entire process I was talking about, the jury too, and he caught that.
So I do want to say thank you to our volunteers again today. We usually come up front and take a group picture. So if we want to get everyone lined up front, across the front here, and we can get a group picture, then I know you guys got to get back to the school bus.
Come on, Jerry. I need some out there. Let me go see if I got some more.
Hey, Officer Robbie, how's it going?
Great, Sean. Worry about that later. Turn around.
You are, yeah, somewhere. You gotta get it. Yes.
Any of the ways that we can. Great. Turn across behind pillar.
Stand up.
There you go.
Okay, one more time. Face front.
Yay, go Catalyst. Okay. Yeah. Okay, Scarlett, let's give a big thank you. Thank you.
I got a lot. Are there a lot of people
Everyone, that was the conclusion of today's event. Again, great event. Really interesting, as Judge Flood was saying, that the kids were taking different aspects from listening to the mock interview, from the mock trial, which was great. So just fantastic. Want to send a shout out to the Washington State Patrol, and shout out, to our Washington State Patrol. Want to say a shout out to them. Big special thank you to all of our law enforcement. The dog is also an officer. I don't remember the dog's name, but made an appearance 2 Fridays in a row. What was it? You don't remember?
She's got her
And of
hands
course,
full.
Judge Flood,
Let's have my defense
Mayor
and
Wheeler,
my
and all of the
prosecutor.
other
You guys come
folks
front,
that were able
and
to
we'll have
put
the
this
officers.
on.
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna do a
This is quite the learning experience for our children.
Bag lunch down.
I never had an
All right.
experience like
All
this
right.
growing up.
So let's
How about you?
middle?
No. Okay, I think definitely important. Look forward to coming back and covering more courses as they go through. Like, get some of that right there. There you go. All right, so it takes a lot of folks to come and volunteer for that. You know, you got that mock script, doing all that great work. So
That he is.
it's just really
It's
fantastic.
always an engineering problem.
Definitely appreciate everyone
Especially on
for
that
tuning in
I-5,
today.
you know, the
Again, we'll
project with
be
South
here
Transit over
because
there.
since we're
Between-
kind of on a
yeah,
court
that's
case,
his-
we'll
that's
be
his
here
project.
again Sunday at 4
Wonder
p.m.
the estimator right now.
Judge Doctor will be presenting
It's a long
at
time.
New
Because they're
Horizon
going all the way
Ministries,
south.
and that
I
address
think
is
they're
4040
like
Wheaton Way
Yeah.
in Bremerton, Washington, Suite 203.
There
There will be hors d'oeuvres
Well,
and gather together, go together, providing the food. So let me just tell
it's a
you,
massive project.
this is going to be
Okay.
an amazing event. So you don't want to
worked in
miss it.
district
You
court too?
definitely don't want to miss it. If you haven't, please subscribe, like, and share.
Okay.
And we'll put the link down below. All right. Well, everyone, enjoy your weekend, and you will see us back again Sunday at 4 p.m. All right. Have a good day, everyone. Enjoy your weekend. This is The Conduit for Sabrina, and today, Malay. I am on camera, and we will see you
Okay. So we had
next
two over
time.
here.